Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Hey/X/. Let's have a good old-fashioned nope thread. Ghosts, creepy incidents, scary stories, anything of the sort.
B15. Middle of the summer, nighttime. Sitting by a fire in my friend's cow field. Drinking Mexican soda, smoking cigs, telling scary stories with my friend and his siblings. Having a super dope time. Hear sounds of thunder, ground shakes. Pears fall out of a nearby tree. See a cow at the top of the hill just booking. 3, 4, 5 cows behind it. Probably 14 cows appear. They are full speed stampeding toward us. We get up to run. All of us make it to the fence. My friend's littlest brother starts to climb it. The second his foot hits the fence, silence. We all turn around. No cows. Totally calm night. The fire is still burning and none of our shit is crushed. We sit back down around the fire. My friend takes an entire bag of marshmallows and burns them in the fire. Tells the spirits that he's sorry if he's offended them. Says the marshmallows are an offering. Obviously, he was a dumb kid. I sit and smoke a cig thinking, I'm gonna get the hell out of here as soon as I'm done. Finish the cig. Environment still calm. Try to get my friends to come back to the house with me. My friend refuses. One sibling says yes. I take her, Amanda, 13-ish, back to the house. She starts crying as soon as we get out of her brother's earshot. I ask her what's wrong. She says her drunk grandpa told her when she was 13 that she'd die being trampled by animals. Get back to the house. She goes to bed. I sit up in the living room watching TV. My friends come in a few hours later. Everything is normal. 2 months later, Amanda dies in a car crash where her father and her hit a huge buck. Her body was supposedly completely crushed by its kicks.
Be me, 7. At the mall with the family on the weekend. Regular show of clowns and performers at the mall. Ask my parents if I could watch the performers as they continue their boring shit. Sure, we'll be in random store over there when you're done. 15 to 20 minutes later, end of the show. Oh, shucks. Well, time to find my parents. Wait. Where the fuck are my parents at? I didn't think this shit through. Panic. Start to cry. I'm going to die at the mall. A friendly performer asked me what was wrong. Told him I was lost. Couldn't find my parents, yada yada. He tells me he'll help me find them. Tells me we will go to the security office. He just needed to drop off his equipment in his truck. Well, I'm not going to stand here alone. Of course, I go with him. He holds my hand. Makes sense, I guess. Get to his truck. He looked kind of hurried. Opens the door and tells me to get in. Suddenly, and without warning, my parents and like 3 security guards call my name. The performer runs. Don't remember much after that other than my parents were super pissed. The dude's truck smelled weird, and I was never allowed to be alone in public for a little while.
22 now, and this keeps me up at night. I really want to believe it was some kind of hallucination, but I can't deny it happened, and it terrifies me. 14-year-old me. Family looking for a new church. First night at the new church. Go into the bathroom, completely empty and no music. Sitting in dead silence for a few minutes. Suddenly, something smashes into my stall door so hard that all the other stalls shake a little bit. Look under the door, can see the entire bathroom. Nothing there. Ask if anyone is there. No response. A few minutes pass. Scared to open the door, watching under the stall door while still on the toilet. Suddenly hear something walk away from my door. Sounds like the noise a dog makes with its claws when walking on tile. Still looking under the door, and there is nothing there. Hear the claw sounds move over to the sinks, then back to in front of my stall. Something smashes into my stall door again, same as the first time. Still can't see anything there. Frozen terrified on the toilet, bent over looking under the door. Not sure how long passes. Probably a minute or two. Nothing else happens. Pull my pants up. Sprint out of the bathroom to my parents in the main room. Tell them we need to leave. I am obviously freaking out, and they don't question me. We leave and never go back to that church.
Be me. Be 18 years old. Be a co-op student for a local music studio. Learn nothing about recording music. Drywall and paint lackey for their large property next door. While painting in this large warehouse, always have the strange suspicion I am being watched. One day in the bathroom, I could have sworn I heard faint screaming coming from the basement through the floor air duct next to my foot. Listen closer. Nothing. Have a slew of nightmares. Start having an overwhelming feeling of dread when I have to go to work. No longer enjoy it. One day mixing paint in the lobby. Hear a loud thud upstairs. I feel reality. Last thing I am thinking is a ghost. Because we are downtown, I worry a homeless person had broken in or someone is robbing the joint. Walk to the flight of stairs with a 2x4 in my hands. Look up this long skinny flight, where it opens up at the top. There is a large skinny portable mirror. I am looking at the mirror, which is on an angle that allows me to see down the hallway. After a solid minute in silence, I hear nothing. If anyone is up there, I have a gun and I will use it. Please show yourself out the door. 2 seconds later, I hear bang. A door being slammed at 1,000 decibels. You know in high school when a kid or teacher accidentally shuts those big metal doors against their cement frames by accident, and you can't help but notice how loud it is. It was like that. I immediately drop the 2x4 in fear and run out of the building next door. I tell all my co-workers. They think it's funny and decide to check it out next door. My co-workers and the owner are super cool. The owner came next door with a huge billy club. We literally checked the building from head to toe, and nothing. I was then told, the place has been haunted for over 100 years, and they never told me. They had a good laugh. They still expected me to work. I quit.
Be me, 24 years old, avid mountain biker in Europe. Head out on a less traveled trail with a friend. We're having a blast. Tricky terrain but fun. Starts getting dark. We've been out for hours. Start to make our way back to the car. It's dusk. Start hearing a faint piano play. Da fuck. Think it might be a cabin somewhere. Continue to hear the faint music. Classic piano, slightly off key. No clue what song. No matter where we go, how far away we were, we continue to hear it faintly. Both kind of freaked out. It's getting darker and darker. Kinda concerned that maybe we ventured too far to find our way back at night. It's not dark as balls. My friend has the only light. That music is still playing on repeat, slightly off key and in the distance. We heard it over an hour ago. Yet it's the same, and we still hear it. Eventually figure out where we are. Get to the car and disassemble our bikes. Music is getting louder. Both of us working like mad to get our bikes in the trunk. Finally get in the car and haul ass. We never went back and never figured out what the music was or where it came from. Had a real eerie tone to it, like an old piano that hasn't been played for a long time. At first we could barely hear it. Every time we'd stop, we'd hear it though. The last 10 minutes was the freakiest. It got louder. I'm sitting here with goosebumps just writing about it. I ride a GT, my friend has a Trek. This happened in Norway in a forest.
be working as a chef at a local pub. A small kitchen fire. One day, I wasn't working that day. Nothing major, but enough to keep the kitchen closed for a week while it gets refurbished. The brewery who owns the pubs asks if I wanted to carry on at a different pub they own. Yes, please, because I need money. End up working at a pub called the Jamaica Inn in Cornwall. Google that shit. One night working the late shift and have the breakfast shift in the morning. The landlord says I can stay in one of the guest rooms for the night because of above, and I live miles away. Wake up at 3 a.m., can hear as clear as day, a horse and cart pulling into the driveway. Literally the hooves clip-clop along the cobbles, even the horse's heavy breathing. Hear some muffled deep voices talking. What the fuck is going on, .rare? Look out the window. Nothing. Completely still night. Ask the landlord about it in the morning. He says, yeah, guests say they hear that all the time. My feels when I'm working in one of the most haunted pubs in Cornwall. Was pretty happy to get back to working at my local. Seriously though, Google Jamaica Inn Cornwall hauntings. Weird, weird place.
Be me living alone. Get home from a shitty job with enough time to put my feet up and watch a show or two before I have to appease the stomach gods. Halfway through an episode of Mythbusters when I hear something in the dark outside my house. Something like scuttling claws against wood. I live in Australia, so critters like possums and shit are a common occurrence. Turn on the backyard light and step outside. Nothing is on the veranda. No signs of possums. Go back inside, paranoid a little. I found a ripped open possum the other day in my backyard, but we have a few cats in our neighborhood, so nothing much to worry about. Go inside and finish the episode. Nothing noteworthy for the rest of the night till bed. In bed, lights out. I have 2 large windows in my room, one to the right side of the room, looking out to the side of the house, and the other which looks out the front. I hear scratching of claws again, this time on tiles. Again, possums on my roof are very common. Don't care, even if their tiny feet sound like people walking on the roof. But then a sound chills me to my bone. It sounds like a hoarse voice trying to say something in a foreign dialect or just very badly. Brush it off because I have to get up early the next morning. Almost asleep after 30 minutes of silence. Then I notice something. A huddled figure that's just a black shape, only barely visible from the sky. Hesitantly grab my phone and shine the screen at the window. My phone is constantly set to lowest brightness so I can save battery throughout the day. So, the light from it was abysmal, but just enough to light up 2 red eyes. They were reflective, like a cat's, but this thing was bigger than a tom. Human-sized at least, even bigger since it looked hunched. My phone screen turned off and I looked down away from it to turn it back on. When I raised the light, it had vanished. Not a sound. Get up and close the curtains. Sleep uneasily the whole night. In the morning before work, I check out the roof. Find 2 mangled possums, one of which had half of its body crushed. A blood trail leading up to it led me to believe that it was still alive for some time and had tried to crawl away. I was creeped out as shit by this point, but I had reached my deadline and had to go to work. It would be quite difficult for a cat to first climb up the house and then catch 2 possums at once and completely crush the second one's pelvis and legs. I get home and do the usual routine of TV, dinner, then bed. Around the same time as last night, I end up hearing the same sounds. Grab my phone and shine the light up at the same window, and I see the eyes, Same reflective eyes. The phone turns off, and in a panic I try to turn it back on, but then I realize something. I hadn't opened the curtains. I ran out of my house and crashed at my friend's for a week.
You guys really need to hear what I have to tell you. Be me, a passenger in my friend's car at night. We swerve around a tree. I caught sight of a white cloth hanging low in the tree branches. Tell my friend to be careful. He refuses to look up, saying it may be something scary, LOL. I unfortunately looked up and saw black hair coming out of the upper left corner of the cloth. Past the tree, enter a tunnel. Just before we enter the tunnel, we heard something bump the top of the car. As we left the tunnel, my friend had to slow down the car because of a steep gradient leading to the neighborhood. A white cloth slid out of nowhere and onto the front screen. We both screamed like little girls. The white cloth parts away a little. We see a part of the cloth that looked like a smooth egg with lots of black veins on the shell. My friend beeped his horn loudly. The cloth slid back up to the top of the car. My friend refuses to stop the car. I frantically turn on the back light to make the mood slightly calmer. I look back to see nothing. We managed to drive into an apartment block nearby my friend's house and tell the security guards what we saw. They went pale and told us to stay in the parking compound until people leave for morning prayers.
I had an aunt living in some old house. We live in Algeria, so here culture wants babies to sleep in the same room as their parents for security and stuff. Also, my aunt's grandfather was some kind of exorcist. In my family, the legend says that every spirit he chased told him he'd take revenge on his children. We call it in my family the baby's sister. We call it like that because every baby in my family that is not under close surveillance has some weird shit happening. Legend says that if you see a baby from the family laughing alone while looking into a deep nothing, take him in your arms and don't let him look at it. My aunt and uncle were like, fuck it. I don't believe in such shit. Culture, civilization, technology and stuff. By the way, me too. So, my aunt had a child, my cousin, and close friend, by the way. And to this day, every time he sleeps at the house, he wakes up in the middle of the night calling, Dad! Mom! Also, he pees on the couch each time it happens. And he's a fearless, fit guy. 100 kilograms pure muscle, 1 meter 92, and 26 years old. One day, my mom told me that there is a story when all this started, but I had to promise I wouldn't tell my cousin about it. Promised because curiosity. She told me that when my cousin was a little baby, my aunt was sleeping in the same room to take care of him, and because of the legend. One day, she woke up in the middle of the night, and without moving, she took a look at my cousin's bed. And then she saw a massive shadow next to his bed, just looking at him for a time. My aunt didn't believe what she saw, closed her eyes for a time and opened them again. The shadow was still there, closed her eyes again and recited some prayers quietly, opened her eyes again, and the shadow was still there. This time, looking at her. She said it had big red eyes, just looking at me. My aunt was paralyzed from terror. The shadow looked back into the child, then into the wall. It just entered into the wall. Next night, she didn't sleep just to see what this was. With time, she was tired from staying up late at night. She laid on the bed in the middle of the night and looked like she was sleeping. The shadow got out of the same wall and started looking at my cousin. My aunt wanted to look, The shadow looked at my cousin each night for some hours, then entered the wall again. My aunt moved away some years after this. My cousin was 5 or 6. The shadow followed him until he started sleeping in another room. From this time, he started to wake up and scream the hell out of himself, asking for his dad and mom. He continued sleeping with his parents until he was 12, then started sleeping with his brother, aged 19 at the same time. To this day, he's tough, but still pisses on the couch and calls his dad every night. That's my cousin's story. When I heard it, I said, okay, but didn't really believe in such shit.
I came to /x/ about 3 times since I found 4chan like 8 years ago. I didn't read this thread either. I just clicked to skim a few replies out of boredom. No offense, lads. I just don't believe in ethereal things, even though I wished life had more than what we can see. Anyways, I figured I would post one of the very few oddities that my logic brain can always remember. It was not a long time ago, maybe 2 years, maybe less. I was sleeping at night in my bedroom. I can't recall extra data, but it was one of those nights that you don't feel very comfortable in bed. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was that I woke up suddenly, and then felt as if someone was an inch distance from my face and side. I don't know if this is the correct English expression, as I'm not a native speaker, but imagine you tell your mother the dog pooped on the balcony again and she sighs. You know what I'm saying? Now, I am a very rational mind and it refuses to accept abnormal things like that. So I told myself in the pitch darkness of my room, what the fuck, lol. Who's there? Is that a spirit? Whoa, go sleep, bro. I have class early tomorrow. And went back to sleep. After a bit of sleep, I woke up for the second time, now slightly confused because I didn't feel normal. I felt a presence, and yeah, I began to feel a very tiny amount of panic. Nothing alarming, though. I jumped off my bed when I heard the sigh again in my ear. I got up and turned on the lights of my bedroom. It felt strange, really. Never had I felt like that before. I opened my room's door and the corridor was very dark. Everyone else was sleeping, as it was high in the night. I had all my senses tickling while adventuring in the hallway. It was a heavy struggle to reach the light switch on my bare foot, and I went to tell my brother something was wrong. He didn't bother, though. But I have never done such a thing before. Anyway, I can't remember much more, so I will leave it like this before I top the maximum words.
Okay, my story is kind of an ongoing saga. We've only taken a break because this winter in the Midwest has been cold. Enjoy. Here is the backstory. Be me, going to beauty school. A few girls who started with me are talking about general/X/ stuff. They aren't just stuck-up bitches. They want to check out this spooky lake where a bunch of people have died. Been there before and was unimpressed, but I wanted friends, so I tag along. That night, they come pick me up. Me, Jai, Tiff, and Christy. Christy decides she needs not one but 2 big tough guys to protect lil ol' her. Whatever. Go pick up these 2 shit stains. One guy is a pretentious hipster, Kaz, and the other one looks like a Christian, Leighton. Tiff decides it's a good idea to use a Ouija board. Hell no, I'm not touching that. We go to the park, but we're not there 5 minutes before a cop shows up and kicks us out. Well, now what? Go back to Leighton's house to commence the Ouija board session. This guy literally has body bags in his house. I'm going to die tonight. Do the Ouija board session and get fucking nothing. We did record the session though, and Jai says she'll take it home and listen to it. Next day, she comes to school pale, says, "You need to listen to this." We go out to her SUV and listen to the recording over the car speakers. Actually works very well. We keep hearing this dripping noise. Maybe it has a connection to the drownings. Hear the door open and close, even though no one went in or out. Hear this building noise every time a question is asked. I can only compare it to the sound off of Paranormal Activity. Hear what sounds like a woman singing. Not very scared, just intrigued. Rest of the week goes by. Weird shit starts happening. Christy opens up her station cabinet, and it's filled with water, despite not being sealed nearly tight enough to fill with water. Hear a baby over the intercom that no one else outside of our group hears. We are all trying to make sense of things when someone mentions Witch's Bridge. You can look it up. It's a local legend in Nebraska. The story goes that 100 years ago there was construction going on near there. Everyone gathered around to watch shit get blown up with TNT. A girl was so startled by the blast that she dropped her baby over the bridge and it drowned. Well, that fits with what's been going on. Tiff and Christy refuse to go out there because they have babies and are scared of whatever's following us, harming their kids. Me and Jai set off with Vanessa, another student, and her fiancé. She's super Catholic and has 2 kids, so I don't know why she agreed to come. We get out the Ouija board, and it knows a bunch of secrets about me. I'm not really friends with these people, so they don't know this stuff. The planchette starts making a number 8 over and over. Decide that's not good, and leave. Jai decides to actually do some Ouija etiquette, and decides that we just need to go close the board. Saturday night, we all pack up into Jai's SUV. It's everyone I've mentioned so far in there, plus my little sister. We all go to serial killer Layton's house to close the board. We tell whatever it is to stop following us. All is right with the world. Until everyone who hasn't gone wants to go to Witch's Bridge. Us all being incredibly stupid decide to go. The first thing I notice is the horse. I'm in the trunk area with my sister. We drive past this barn. There's this white-gray speckled horse that's just standing by the fence, unmoving. Don't remember any horse there earlier. As we get closer, I see this horse's proportions are all wrong. It's almost 11 feet tall. Its head is huge compared to its body. It's only like 2 to 3 feet off the ground. It looks like a drawing out of scary stories to tell in the dark. My sister and I are freaking out about this demon horse. No one else saw it or wants to turn around, so we keep driving. We go park on the bridge, which is a big no-no. We sit there in dark silence. We get bored, so some of us braver people get out and start walking the length of the bridge. We only have the flashlights on our phones. You can hear walking and clanking behind us out of the reach of the light. All of a sudden, this car with its brights appears. It's coming right at us and not slowing down. We all take off to the SUV to avoid becoming roadkill. We are trying to outrun a speeding car though, so we don't quite make it to the SUV. This car just stops with its brights on, blinding us, then slowly backs up and drives off. Some silver car. Chalk it up to someone trying to scare us. Christy suddenly becomes violently ill. We decide to drive to a gas station not too far away so she can calm down. We notice a car coming from the way of the witch's house. An old abandoned shack that supposedly belonged to the legendary witch that haunts the place. It's coming our way, so we drive off the way we'd been going. It goes from being almost a mile away to right behind us. We see it's silver. We get onto the highway and pass a few cars, then loop back towards the bridge by that barn and turn off the lights to lose this car. That fucking horse is still standing there, just staring at us. The car doesn't fall for it and loops back in too. We go all over high hell trying to lose this car. Finally, we hide behind this hotel by the interstate. The car must have thought we got on the interstate and goes to keep following us. We wait until it's out of sight and go to the gas station, then go home.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.